Okay, the table's not coming out the way I envisioned. The legs had way too much spring back, and it was caused my table to be a lot taller than what I originally wanted. Now I can't cut the bottom off really anymore because the table would be unstable. If I cut the legs off to the height I want, which is right about here, the span at the bottom would be way too narrow and the table would just tip over. So the span of the legs are actually is actually pretty close at the bottom. So that means I have to pull the table down to right about here. And that's easy enough to do. But what I was thinking is if I did that, this cross brace isn't going to look right. It's not going to be in the middle, and not necessarily that it has to be in the middle. It's just where I thought it needed to be. So what I'm going to do with the cross brace is put it down here in between the spanning blocks and then bring the table down about 6 or 8 inches, and then probably the gap between the two legs is going to be open. And I think that's going to even be better because once I undo these clamps, this is going to spread open just a little bit and actually give me a little bit more span at the top. So I think that's going to be the way to go. And I think that's my plan today, and hopefully get this table at least to finish today. Okay, it wasn't as simple as I thought to cut 6 or 7 inches off the top. Found out that my spacer blocks the angles of them would not look right, and it created too much tension for the screws to hold the angle supports, and it just basically all blew apart. So here's where I'm at now. I got one leg with the shape that I like, which is the bottom one. The second leg is on top with some spacers, so I can align the top with the top of each one, and this support bar down here at the bottom, so they're both in the correct position. This support bar that I'm working on now will stay permanently once I cut it to shape. But I had to put it in this order so I can trace out the piece so I can cut it to the right shape. I hope all that makes sense. I promise you, I'm as confused as you are. And cut that away and remount it. So the other thing that I got to do, because this piece of this piece of hickory doesn't really match all the other dark legs and everything, I got to fake it a little. If I just put this white piece of hickory in there, it would stick out like a sore thumb. So I can camouflage it a little bit by burning it. All right. So I'll mount those with 2 screws on either side, and I'll have 2 legs that match. So my original plan was to plug this hole and use this hole and create another hole. That would have left me with 3 plugs that would have been pretty visible because I don't have any more of this type of wood. So I tried to get creative and drill at an angle like this into that existing hole, and my drill bit broke off in there. So that's awesome. I think I'm okay because I got a screw that's in very well, and I got a drill bit in there that's never coming out, and also it's preventing it from twisting. So I'm going to leave it like that, plug both of those holes at the end, and hide them as best as possible. On the other side, I was able to get 2 screws in the original holes, and I would only have the 2 original plugs that I planned on. All right, now after all that, I cut the bottoms to final length, and I got a total height of 29.5 inches for the legs. I have almost an inch top for the top itself. It's not quite an inch. So these 2 Eiffel Tower looking things are symmetrical. They look good, and I'm happy with that. Now I can move on to sanding, mounting the top, and finishing this up. All right, I got the table done. It actually turned out a lot better than I was anticipating. All of this was done off the cuff. I didn't have any plans, or it was just kind of a vision in my head, and that didn't turn out right. But after I seen how I could fix it, I think it actually turned out better. My whole original plan was to have a bar here in the middle holding these 2 legs together, but I actually like it this way. It's open on both sides. I'll get some better pictures here towards the end. But I really like the way this turned out. And this is just, believe it or not, just one coat of brush-on lacquer, and that was enough. It took really well, and I put some paste wax on top, and that was it. It's nice and slick and smooth, and I really like it. There is a little bit of wobble on this, but it is going to be sitting on carpet, so I'm not going to worry about it. I thought I got the wobble out, but it must have twisted or something right when I put it back together for the final assembly. I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to sit on carpet, so that's going to take care of it. And if it's a problem later, I'll just fix it. But I think it'll be fine. Where it's going to go is at my mom's house, right next to her. She just got a new couch, and that's where it's going to go. So I don't know what you call it, a side table, art piece table, I don't know. But we'll call it a side table for now. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next time.